Rangers never quit, baby. Rangers never quit. I'm JP. That's Josh. This is the Texas Porch, Texas Talk with a touch of sports. We're keeping this up all throughout this series. What we are going to do, as I'm starting to get some echo, I am in not Texas for the day job. And I still am somehow better lit than Josh at a CIA black site. But I'm just observing. I'm just saying maybe the loss has me kind of, but how are you doing? Much better now, huh?
Much better now. You being in Tulsa, I didn't know if we were going to get to do this. So I was all for that because it was going to look like you're a sore loser, like we only do them when the Rangers win. But unfortunately, you came through. I mean, I know you're a stand-up guy, but I don't mind other people not thinking that. So that was no. I'm glad glad to be here, and I'm glad the Astros won to make this a real series.
Yeah, it's funny that I thought of that. One, it shows the poor communication skills that I have, that I didn't commit early that, hey, we're definitely doing this, because I remembered, oh yeah, I text you right when Presley was taking them out, hey, you want to do this pod thing? But then I actually thought it's going to look pretty bad if I don't do it for the dozens and dozens that listen to us on a regular basis.
And full transparency here, if the Astros happen to win Game 4 and 5, I know you're out for Game 4 because you're going to be doing Rice football duties, and you have absolutely no option to do it. And I'm going to be out Game 5 because I'm doing Lufkin football duties for Lufkin Daily News. So I assume, I mean, unless you want to try to make it work some way.
So what you're saying, we get a guest host, or guest co-host, I guess, because I thought about going to get. By the way, let us know. I am JP. That's Josh. Let us know where you're tuning in from tonight. We want to hear. Somehow you did not know Astros 8, Rangers 5. Your thoughts before we get into the meat of it. We'd like to know where you find yourself on this nice, cool, and crisp fall night. But yeah, I checked tickets when it got 5-0 in that game tonight. I checked tickets, and drum roll here. What do you think? Two questions. What do you think the lowest price was? One, and B, what do you think the lowest seat price was? Because standing room only was one price, and Game 5, because I can't go to Game 4 tomorrow, so we got day job duties. So yeah, what do you think?
So Game 5 tickets you're talking about?
Yeah, Jeff's here.
Absolutely, he was looking forward to this. I'm guessing standing room only was 140 and tickets were about 230.
Close on the standing room only. It was about 115, 120. This obviously Game 5 would be at the Gilf, but I was seeing 320 was the lowest for an actual buttocks in seat. So
yeah, I'm never sure about standing room only. I mean, it's good in theory to be in the building, especially if it's a clincher. But man, just not having an option to sit down for like 5 hours is, maybe that's the 43-year-old me speaking. Maybe the 20-year-old will be okay with it. But I like having that seat, and I like knowing that people aren't going to be standing in front of me the whole game. But I don't know.
yeah, probably not going to do it. Going to bail out. But all right, let's get into the meat of it. Anytime any folks come strolling along here, we know this is a little bit of a later one, but we made it happen. Do you mind if I completely grab the reins and, as the loser, give my initial thoughts on this one? Because I gave you, as the loser that's lost way more times in this series, I gave you the first shot in the other one.
You know, I absolutely do not care. I'm just here to follow your lead. Like,
okay.
I'm good to be the second fiddle here, and I could never host. It's just like in our baseball play-by-play days. Being a color commentator is so much easier than being the play-by-play guy. So have at it. Do what you need to do.
It's not venting. I just wanted to get this off my chest early, but I admit it's biased because it's coming from the big dumb T on my shirt here. But I knew it'd be on. I know this is one of our bold predictions. Like, as Jeff told you during the game, hey, the team that scores more runs early is going to win. But I knew once it came back to Arlington, on like Donkey Kong, you knew it would be a series. And I knew it. Maybe it's confirmation bias, but I knew that would settle the Astros down, as if they needed settling down. Science sounds a tad condescending to say that, hey, they lost 2 games by combined 3 runs. So, they're just, woe is the Astros. No, it wasn't all that, but it's a brand new series. And it was obviously the most important game of the Astros season and series. And they came through when it mattered. Again, in our great baseball enlightenment, we're getting in our middle age, Josh, the team that scores more early wins. And that's been the trend, really. Who was I listening to? I think it was 105.3 The Fan, streaming them before I jumped on the old bird to come up here to not Texas. And it's been that way, and that's the nature, having good teams in the playoffs. But teams that have been scoring the offense really early, they're holding on to win these games. The bullpens have pitched pretty well, and that was the case for your Astros tonight. But you got to buckle up and put on your big boy or big girl britches, whatever your persuasion is and whatever your fandom is, because it is going to be a game the rest of the series. And it had me thinking for the first time. I never thought it would be a sweep, but I thought after the first 2 games even, I didn't think, okay, it's a sweep. But tonight kind of reminded me, I mean, this is easily going 6. And if it doesn't go 7, I'd be almost shocked if it doesn't go 7. All right, yeah, Vicky could be Doug. I don't know. We had Vicky one night. We had Doug another. So
my guess is it's Doug.
Okay.
But please, Vicky, Doug, tell us who you are.
And does Doug not have Facebook? Can we not get him social media? I know he has Twitter. But
no, Doug is social media. No social media. He's got Twitter. He's got Twitter, but and Instagram. But it's much more to look than to actually.
But other than that, he doesn't have social media. Yeah, other than the 2 big ones.
I mean, my social media. Like, I never post outside of Facebook. I post cute stuff with the kids, but Doug is totally like, he's not posting anything.
Yeah. Well, I made my first big one. Jeff chimes in. Probably our most devoted fan, I would say, if we can even be so bold to call us fans. Yeah, exactly on the first one. Astros have plenty of experience being hit in the mouth. And the Rangers haven't been in this position in the postseason. I'll add on to that after getting up and then lose. I mean, this is their first loss of the postseason. Starting pitching obviously matters. Yeah, this age of going to the bullpen, starting out, is fine for the regular season, doesn't work. I don't think that was the case in this one, Jeffrey. They wanted to get Scherzer. It was really more Scherzer wanting. They paid him the big bucks to pitch in a game like this. So I've got that coming up in a little bit. I just kind of forecast that one too. But yeah, Astros have very capable starting pitching as well. All right, the next one. Speaking of Scherzer, he wasn't the reason, but it certainly wasn't the start you needed. And it was like you knew this start was going to happen with Scherzer. Yeah, it'd have been great. Yeah, it would have added to the myth in the legend that is Max Scherzer if he goes 6-7 strong innings. There was a complete game 1 hitter. Rangers up 3-0. Man, it's great. But that wasn't reality. And I said I knew it. I said I told you so. I don't get much right, so maybe it's just confirmation bias again, but he gave them exactly what – so. But maybe this bad start lends towards knocking the rust off, so to speak, and pitching better in a game 6 or a game 7. But and the other one, the last point I'll make is the ball was absolutely flying. That was our popular text thread going back and forth. I could not believe how that ball was jumping left and right. It was insane. And I don't have the numbers off the hand, but how many balls were hit over 105 miles an hour that resulted in outs in tonight's game? So diarrhea of the mouth. My apologies. That's just sports therapy. Had to unload on my bearded buddy there. Lucky enough to be down in the state of Texas. So your thoughts to that, and any independent thoughts of your own, Joshua?
So much to unpack there that I was wanting to get to. Start off with the ball flying. Like, I texted Jeff, who's listening here, after the first inning and said, man, that ball is flying, because no, there's Doug. But yeah, I mean, Jose Altuve hit the one in the first inning, the leadoff batter, and I was like, that's the middle of the outfield out, and it flew to like 2 feet away from being a home run, and it just continued throughout the night. So conspiracy theory, since there has been a juice ball in the playoffs before, I know you're new to this postseason playoff thing, but the Astros, like, sorry, I've got to get unsolicited shots when I can for the Astros win. But no, it was flying. Like, there were multiple ones. I think the Astros flew out to the warning track like 7 times, including the outstanding catch by Tavares there. That was along that. But yeah, the ball was flying. My main take, maybe you're getting to this more later, is I thought this all along, and at the same time, I was like, I question Dusty Baker all the time, and he knows a ton more than me. And I question, like, did anybody besides Bruce Bochy think that this Scherzer start was going to be a good idea? Like, because I did a story for the Lufkin Daily News on the series, and I talked to a couple of Lufkin guys, and I ran to one of them the hall, and he said, no, the Astros about to tee off on Scherzer. He's not ready. Like, I don't think it was just an Astros thing. Like, and I think you even said that it wasn't a surprise that he got teed off on. Like,
I knew it was coming, yeah.
And I mean, this is coming from Ranger fans, and I think Jeff thought the same thing. Like, I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. Like, I mean, they were up 2-0, so they had some wiggle room. At the same time, I don't know anybody that thought that Scherzer pitching was going to be a good idea. And he gave up, 5 runs in 4 innings or something, which, I mean, I don't know, 5 and 4, 4 and 3. It's a blur now, but
yeah, 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 innings, 4 strikeouts. Only walked 1 guy, but yes, he gave up the little teeny tiny Jose Altuve homer.
Yeah, he gave up that
tiny guy. Yeah,
I mean, that was big, but that wasn't as big as the fastball right down the middle that he let Maldonado get a 2-run single off of. Like, you can't throw. I mean, I know you can throw down the middle to Maldonado and get a bunch of outs, but you can't plan on it with the bases loaded. I mean, I think that might have been the biggest key of the game, and you just can't let him. I mean, maybe that's the ultimate bad reporting here, but you can't let Altuve beat you, but you also can't pitch one so bad that Maldonado beats you. So, yeah, that was my scope, that they pitched him. And while I didn't think it was a good idea for tonight, I think it's also a bad idea because the Astros offense wasn't doing a ton outside of Jordan, and it just lets him get kind of going in the right direction. Baseball's such a streaky game. You let all those guys get started, and then it can snowball on you. And the Rangers obviously can be the opposite way. Things go bad on them, and it starts snowballing. I don't know if it's totally going like that for them, because the Rangers fought hard tonight. They made a ton of big defensive plays. I think they got 3 runs off the Astros big relief guys, which is not common. But at the same time, you don't want to let going. But I mean, I guess there's bigger things, like you want Scherzer to get going. But my grand thought of the night is Scherzer shouldn't have been starting. They should have let Dunning go or somebody else. And I thought it came back to bite him that you let Scherzer go out there and give up 5 runs in 4 innings to put yourself behind the 8 ball all night, where you're just fighting for a win.
I think, though, imagine this, the managers know more than us. By the way, remind me to get back to my Scherzer counterpoint, but we had a great steak dinner at one of Tillman Fertitta's Texas Steakhouse. So you can take the Texas boy out of Texas, but you can't take him away from the Texas steakhouses. And it was fantastic because I had two diehard, I guess, three Astros fans at the table and a Yankees fan. It was just like perfect baseball talk. We talked for like 45 minutes about why fans don't like Dusty Baker and this, and it was just great camaraderie and great baseball talk. You saying that about not liking Dusty earlier made me think of that. But
for the record, I like Dusty. I'm just saying that I question his stuff a lot of the times, and it works out. And maybe you're going the same route with Bochy here.
Yes, but they know all the time. But summing up both, they had that luxury. Would Scherzer have pitched if the Astros were up 2-0? I don't think so. I think because they had that luxury and Scherzer really it's not like they just planned this 2 days ago. If you remember the media reports, I mean, going into the Tampa series, or I guess, in between the Tampa and Baltimore series, he started throwing. And it's like, what? Can he put on the cape? Can he go? So it's okay, Rangers fans, as if I'm talking any off cliffs, but they had that luxury. You still got the Dunning. Gosh help me, I'm relying on Dane Dunning for another start eventually. I assume I don't know if you've seen it. I know Urquidy's going for you guys, but I don't know who's going for the Rangers. That wasn't why they lost the game. It wasn't Scherzer, but I might be talking out of both sides of my big old noggin. Do we think we know? We mentioned the ball was flying, but why was it? I mean, there were a lot of TT rockets out there, a lot of Tinkle rockets. They were just Scud missiles. And the roof's closed. Major League Baseball, like this guy, doesn't like fun. You have these two perfectly pristine ballparks. I hate to tell Rangers fans this, but I really like Minute Maid Park. And the roof's closed. Oh, it's 68 degrees. Oh, there's some condensation where Myrtle can slip at the nacho stand before getting her boomstick. Oh, open the roof. Anyway, that didn't factor into it. That would have something. The ball usually travels a lot better when the roof's open there. But man, it was flying. But yeah, that catch by Taveras was amazing. I know I'm going all over the map here. How about Altuve? He continues to do Altuve things. Would you be interested in a package deal? Do you think Astros fans would let him get traded? I don't know where he played with the Rangers, but I know he'd like hitting at Globe Life Field. His 10th home run in LCS play. Dubon had a really good game for you guys. You already mentioned Maldonado. It seems like every game I'm watching, and again, I've watched a lot of Astros. Like I say, okay, I kind of get what they're talking about in this Maldonado-Diaz debate. That was part of our debate at the Texas Steakhouse tonight in not Texas, Oklahoma. But man, Maldonado's so good handling things behind the plate, and he just hits those little dinkers and duckers and little duck farts that find their way into the grass. And I know what his numbers say, but it seems like every time I'm paying my stupid money to go watch him, he's getting hits, he's getting homers. So Astros fans, shut up. You got a decent guy who knows what he's doing behind the plate. What else? Oh, yeah. Astros own the Rangers still. They've won 7 of 8 at Globe Life Field. So congratulations. It's going to Game 6. The Rangers will win the last 2. That's basically how it's going. I said so. I blacked out there again for a little bit. But I thought they were just going to storm through, Josh. I thought it would be a sweep here and maybe the Phillies win a game. But to lose a game in the postseason, I never saw it coming. And hopefully people get the sarcasm there.
Well, I think you mentioned it earlier. It did match the Astros for 7 straight wins to opened the playoffs, which the Astros made it to the World Series before they lost Game 1 of the World Series. The Rangers started earlier this year, so it wasn't quite the same. But, teams lose games. My hope is an Astros homer is the Rangers are the streakiest team. Like, one loss for some reason sets them off. I've been telling my sister all along because she's like, well, I can't use the language my sister used in text because she's a little bit more colorful than I am. But she texted me the first, like, as the Rangers sweeping the Orioles, and she said, there's always that team. Is this year, are the Rangers that effing team? And I was like, possibly, but at the same time, I think if they lose a game, then they go downhill. And she texted me after game 2 and said, what if the Rangers don't lose a game? And I said, the Rangers are going to lose a game. So that's my long story. My sister being much smarter than me, but sometimes I know baseball better than her. Of me saying, hopefully the Rangers losing a game sets off one of these losing streaks where it goes. The only thing, like I said earlier, the Rangers did a lot of good things tonight. Like, it wasn't like they totally gave up or anything, or this turned into a landslide. I know it was 8-5, and it felt like the Astros were going to win all night long. And I have no doubt about that. But the Rangers made so many good defensive plays. They got to the Astros bullpen for 3 runs. They got the home run off Javier. Javier, by the way, looked great again.
Yeah.
He gave up a 2-run homer. Like, that makes me feel really good for a possible Game 7, because if they go there, if the Rangers go Scherzer, if they go whoever, I like Javier over him. But at the same time, the Astros slowed down that momentum. Like, just one way in the playoffs can slow everything down, where obviously, I mean, we make fun of ourselves for being the obvious people, but you don't want to go down 3-0. Like, the Astros
really?
going,
Okay.
yeah, the Astros going 2-1, even if they lose tomorrow, if they split the next 2, at least they're going home with a chance to win. Obviously, they don't want to go home needing 2 wins because they haven't been good at home. But talking to one of my friends at work today, I said, the most likely scenario is tonight we're texting that the Astros won this game by 4 runs. And after Game 5, we're saying, well, the Astros are up 3-2, and this is great. And then we're saying, well, that's exactly what happened in the World Series against the Nationals, where they came back and won. So I'm not saying the Astros win the next 2. Still totally don't know what's going to happen in the series. Like, the Astros the whole season, they've been unpredictable, and the Rangers probably more unpredictable, because they started this season as, like, if they win 85 games, it's a great season for them. And they're here 2 wins away from the World Series. So, long-winded way of saying, if the Astros win Game 4, it's going to lead to a long series, obviously. But I have no idea what's going to happen.
If you did, you wouldn't be recording this with me here 11 o'clock on a Wednesday night, right?
Nah, I'd be a gambling man, which obviously both of us aren't, because we know about gambling. Yeah, we know about gambling, but we also know if we gambled, we would be living under a bridge somewhere.
So here's, by the way, you mentioned something that made me think of this. But, yeah, the Rangers weren't without their bright spots. Josh Young hit 2 2-run homers. It was good to get Jonathan, whatever he's going by. It was good to get John Gray some work. I was like, I wonder, watching it with the buddy here in the hotel room. He's a big Astros. His wife worked with the Astros. Wonder who's going to start coming up tomorrow, and then John Gray comes in. So it's good to see him get some work. How about that? When he rounded third, going back to Josh Young, he does that thing like, you can't see me. What are the kids doing these days? You're hip on all the
that's at the new, and Jeff's watching. That's the John Cena WWE. You can't see me. That was his finishing move.
So it's a wrestling thing.
Yes, absolutely. Like,
okay. Yeah, for folks watching / listening that don't know, Josh has also, in addition to his crazy math ability to sleep on command, he's a closet wrestling expert as well. All right. Some odds and ends looking inside the box score, and interested me to start with the victors tonight. Brantley back in it in the 2-hole and putting Tucker down in the 6th spot. I mean, he got a hit. He scored a couple times. Maybe that's enough to get him going.
And Jeff and I texted about this. Y'all right there?
Yeah, I'll make it.
No, Jeff and I texted about this. I thought tonight, well, he said it first, but I thought tonight was great for Tucker because he got 3 walks. He smoked one there where Jordan got thrown out by 17 feet. I don't know why they sent him. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not saying he's back, but he's definitely seeing the ball because the problem he has is he swings at a bunch of awful pitches whenever he's going wrong. So I think moving him down to the 6th hole was a good thing. And so probably leave him down there for tomorrow, maybe the next day. I mean, that's massive if they get Tucker going because Tucker is, well, he can never be what Jordan's doing in the playoffs right now because nobody can.
Man.
But he is, Tucker is a step down from that. Like he can carry a team like hardcore for a while. And so getting 3 walks and a hit, like he was on base 4 out of 5 times. So that's massive. And Altuve's massive. Just getting those guys going. I know the pitching wasn't as great for the Rangers, but that's huge for them.
The 4, look at this. Yeah, the 4 through 9 spots in the order tonight for the Astros got 10 other 12 hits. And the only other 2 being from the biggest of little guys, Jose Altuve there. You mentioned Javier already, gave him his propers. 5 2/3 innings, gave up the 2 runs. Astros only walked 3 guys. It was Abreu's scoreless inning streak came to an end, was at 35 Ron Burgundy innings that it came.
I don't remember. It was since like July.
So, yeah, not scoreless innings, but scoreless appearances. Yeah. Is that right? Is that close? Am I in the right ballpark? Almost literally.
The streak was scoreless innings, but I don't remember what it was. It was somewhere in the 30-something ballpark, which he's been amazing. And tonight he gave up the 1 walk and gave up a run. So I don't think he's anything to worry about. But at the same time, it is something for the Rangers if they need that. Neris hadn't been great in the postseason. They got a couple runs off him, off the young home run. Just to know that the Rangers aren't the only one that has the potential of blowing a game late.
It was only 20 1/3 innings going into that one. I see.
Oh, I thought it was more, but I'm sure you're right. You got the numbers right in front of you.
Well, don't believe everything you see on the internet.
I'm not doubting you.
Well, dang it, Josh. You know, if for one thing, it's that's in the AP game story. So if you can believe those writers out there, that's something you can. Yeah, Young hit the first of the 2-run homers. That's what ended that streak. But have you seen any kind of segueing, landing this presentation? By the way, comment anybody out there that hasn't commented just yet. Like to hear what you think. Give you any propers out there. Don't the Rangers have to go with Dunning? I know your boy Urquidy, whose beard game is only rivaled by you, is going to be going, but I think it'd have to be the Dunning-Heaney combo, kind of because Dunning piggybacked. He's usually the starter, and the piggyback starts, and then you can bring Heaney in the lefties. I wish they'd announce it sooner because I hate talking out of my backside, but some would say I made a career at that. So
I don't have any idea. Like the text between my Astros fans, because I thought Gray was going to be the guy for Game 4, which I love because I'm like, that's another Scherzer situation, except I don't think he's capable.
Good for you.
Yeah, no, I was sad to see Gray. I'm like, we need another one of these games. Then it's got to be Dunning. I think it's got to be Dunning or however they want to do Dunning or Haney. Like, I don't think they have any other options in that. And Dunning's been really good. Like, he doesn't scare me. Like, I think the Astros should batter him, but I don't know if that'll happen. But he's been really good lately. And maybe it's just me watching Dunning all the time and listening to you about Dunning more appropriately. Like,
last year, before this season, that was my Dane Dunning stance.
Absolutely.
This year, Dane Dunning, he's been their MVP of the staff, I think.
No, he was your nemesis before this year. Like, because it seemed like every time we went to see them, then Dunning was starting and the Astros were bashing him. Like, I think he even started last year, the game we went to where the Astros had 2 immaculate innings and he gave up 6 runs and an inning and a third. So the Astros have all kinds of great history against him. So I kind of think tomorrow, I mean, that's got to be the option, but he's been a lot better. But I think that's what they got to do. They got to go Dunning and the Astros go Urquidy. Obviously, is that official? They're going Urquidy tomorrow? Because I know he was in the bullpen today.
That's what Joe Davis and John Smoltz were talking about. Okay, no, just reported Haney will start Game 4. Look on Rangers Twitter.
Okay, so it's going to be Haney with Dunning as the backup, I'm sure. But I mean, I don't know. But Urquidy's got to be the Astros guy. I mean, he
is. I'm telling you. Please trust me. I'm telling you.
I didn't know if you had officially said that. But
well, it's on the. I don't know if you know this, but they pay billions of dollars for these broadcasts, and they give them info. So Joe Davis made it seem like, okay, let's say it is Urquidy. Let's say Dusty Baker's. I mean, why wouldn't it be Urquidy? And B, do you have a problem with that? If it is, because he was really good in the Twin Series, like Javier was.
No, I thought Urquidy had to be the guy. Like,
and Chandler Rome, our boy, also says, it definitely is Urquidy going.
Okay, yeah, Chandler Rome, I totally trust. I thought it had to be Urquidy. Urquidy went down to the bullpen with the rest of the relievers today, and they said he was available today. But I assume when he's in pitch, it'd be him. I mean, he's the best option. He's capable. Like, he can be good, or he cannot be good. But I mean, he was good in his last start. He's got World Series experience. He's one of the best pitchers the Astros had in the World Series. So, at the same time, I mean, it could go bad for the Astros. But I like having Urquidy out there as a number 4 pitcher. The Astros starting depth isn't quite what it was. But having him out there is, Astros fans are spoiled, but having him out there is better than most number 4s. I'd prefer having him over Dunning or Haney. Like, you take him and take your chances and go with, they've still got JP France. They've still got, they've got plenty of long relief options besides him. So if he needs to come out early, and that's fine. So, that's what I assumed that it was going to be. And, I assume right after they didn't use him tonight, that was the only option they had.
All right, Josh, abrupt ending. There will be another day coming up. What's your post-game status tomorrow? Because I don't know how or if we would fit one in with me doing my day job, glancing over. I've decided I'm not taping it. I'll tape it, but not to keep the score from me. So I don't know. Are you able to hold my hand tomorrow if I can just rant, if I know a score during my while I waddle to a bus to get on a plane?
I'm absolutely good if you find a way to do it tomorrow. I just didn't know how you do it, because my plan for tomorrow is I've worked ahead all week so I can come home and watch the Astros Rangers and put it on the TV, listen to some Rice football, listen to JP on Rice football. He's one of the best out there. So my plan is to listen to you while watching the game. So if you find a way, if you find a way to get the podcast, then absolutely go for it. I just can't. I assumed you were out because that's kind of a hard thing to broadcast a Ross Tulsa game and do Astros Rangers post game. But if you need, I can carry you a little bit and
Yeah, I
tell
think
you
you're
tell you
right.
what happened.
We've had what 120 episodes or so together. I think it's time for you to actually contribute. So
Absolutely, I've told you your job's harder than mine of anything we've ever done. Like you can do what I can do, but I can't do what you can do in terms of broadcasting. If I went to writing, I think it'd be the opposite way around. But yeah, I'm here for you. But on Friday, I think I'm out of the loop. So if anybody thinks anybody's being a bad sport, then that's just the life we live of Rice football and Lufkin football and coverage of football in Texas, which is great.
well, aren't you a lot more chipper and talkative after an Astros win? You,
Hey, I think I was pretty chipper after the Astros losses too.
yeah, all things considered. All right, man. I don't necessarily have to go to bed, but I'll leave you with a tease. I am going to Amazio's Pizza for lunch tomorrow, and I got to tell my Mazio's Mafia story to our Uber driver on the way back from our steakhouse today.
That is awesome. And plus, I love I used to love Mazio's pizza, but your story is so much better than
Yeah,
Mazio's pizza. So
I told he was a Jamaican Uber driver, and we had about a 15-minute drive back, and I'm nervously pulling the game up on my phone. And I was like, oh my gosh, I took a quick pic of Mazio's and my friend's Donnie, who I don't think you wouldn't have ever met. He used to work with me at Mazio's. I got him a job there with Lamar, podcast Lamar. And I told our Uber driver, and some of those didn't know the story in the Uber with me, how I got fired on the front lawn by the owner of the Mazio's Pizza. But back when I was 20, big dumb kid. So.
a Jamaican Uber driver in Tulsa. I think you buried the lead. Like there can't be many of those.
I get myself in the middle of some things, but I had to tell them. So yeah, I'll report back. We got our stories are stacking up with the state fair and with. By the way, I'm giving you those bed springs. By the way, we'll tell the full story. You're getting those bed springs, young man. I'm going to find an opportunity. Josh is trying to pawn some bed springs off on me. My own. He's trying to give me my own bed springs. That's anyway.
Yeah,
Right,
we can't even get into that story tonight, but we'll get into it at some point.
Yeah, we have our thanks to everybody that watched and is listening. Remember, subscribe to Texas Sports Podcast, and have a great rest of this day or night. God bless you. God bless Texas. We'll talk to you next time out here on the Texas Porch. Rangers in 5.
Astros in 6, but go Owls.
Go Rangers, go Owls.